Hello RedCaseStory listeners, welcome back to our channel that discusses true crime stories that truly happened around the world. We hope that you are all in good health and kept away from danger. Tonight, we unravel a case that sent shockwaves through the tech world, a murder that was as calculated as it was brutal. This is the tragic case of Fahim Saleh, a young millionaire, a tech entrepreneur, and the victim of a cold and terrifying plan, a man who dreamed big, built empires, and was betrayed by someone he trusted the most. What really happened in that luxury Manhattan apartment in 2020? Let's dive into the story. Fahim Saleh was no ordinary man. Born in Saudi Arabia on December 12, 1986, to Bangladeshi parents, he moved to the United States with his family when he was young. Fahim was the embodiment of the modern tech entrepreneur, curious, ambitious, and absolutely brilliant. By the time he was in middle school, he was already writing code. As a teenager, he created websites and small apps, quickly realizing he had a knack for technology and business. Eventually, Fahim co-founded Pathao, a ride-sharing company in Bangladesh that grew rapidly and became one of the country's first tech unicorns. He was also behind Gokada, a motorcycle ride-hailing service in Nigeria. Fahim was not just a businessman, he was a visionary. He invested millions of his own money in startups across the developing world, but with success comes attention. And sometimes, jealousy. By 2020, Fahim Saleh was living the dream. He had just purchased a luxury condo on the Lower East Side of Manhattan for $2.25 million. The 33-year-old was single, thriving, and always focused on his next business venture. People who knew him said he was humble, kind, and incredibly driven. He loved helping others and often mentored younger tech talents. To the outside world, his life was perfect, but unknown to him, darkness was slowly creeping closer. It would come from a person he trusted. A person he once helped. A person who knew all the routines, all the secrets, and exactly how to get past Fahim's guard. Enter Tyrese Haspil. He wasn't just Fahim's personal assistant, he was his right-hand man. Young, smart, and charming. Fahim treated him almost like a younger brother, but Tyrese had a secret. He had been stealing from Fahim. Tens of thousands of dollars were siphoned quietly, over time. Fahim eventually found out, and in a move that showed just how forgiving he was, Fahim chose not to press charges. Instead, he gave Tyrese a chance to repay the money, quietly and without public shame. It was a lifeline. A second chance, but Tyrese had another plan in mind. It was July 13, 2020. Fahim was last seen entering his apartment around 1:40 p.m. Security footage showed him walking into the elevator, which opened directly into his unit. But he wasn't alone. A man, dressed in a full black suit, gloves, and a face mask, followed him into the elevator. That man was Tyrese Haspil. Moments after the elevator doors closed, Fahim was attacked with a taser. The shock immobilized him. Then, multiple times with a knife. The attack was violent and sudden, and just like that, the brilliant life of Fahim Saleh was extinguished. 2 days passed. On July 15th, Fahim's cousin, worried after not hearing from him, went to check on him. She used her key fob to enter his apartment, and what she found was a nightmare. Fahim's body had been dismembered. Parts were placed in plastic bags. A saw was still plugged in near the scene. The killer had tried to clean the area. Bleach bottles, rubber gloves, and cleaning supplies lay scattered around, but the job was left unfinished. Investigators believed the murderer had planned to return to clean up, possibly to dispose of the body completely, but something had scared him away. Maybe it was the cousin's unexpected visit, maybe it was time running out. The NYPD quickly descended on the apartment. The scene they walked into was both horrifying and puzzling. Here was a man, young, wealthy, influential, dismembered in his own high-end condo. Nothing was stolen. No signs of forced entry, but the killer had clearly used tools. tools that were bought in cash, possibly to avoid being traced. Detectives retrieved the surveillance footage. And in that silent, haunting elevator clip, they saw it all, a masked man following Fahim in. No struggle. No warning, just seconds later, silence. But detectives weren't just interested in what happened. They wanted to know why. Thanks to security footage and digital trails, it didn't take long for police to zero in on a suspect, and to their surprise, it was Tyrese Haspil, Fahim's own personal assistant. He had bought the electric saw, the cleaning supplies, and even a suitcase, all from local stores, all in cash. Receipts were found in his apartment. He also used Fahim's credit card after the murder, a bold, foolish move that helped investigators connect the dots. Tyrese had even checked into an Airbnb a few blocks away from the crime scene. Authorities arrested him on July 17th, just 2 days after the body was found. The public was stunned. How could someone so close be capable of something so cruel? Digging deeper, detectives uncovered the motive. Tyrese had stolen around $90,000 from Fahim over time. He forged documents, used fake accounts, and rerouted company funds. When Fahim found out, he was furious, but still chose not to involve the police. Instead, he offered Tyrese a chance to repay the money privately. But Tyrese, overwhelmed by debt and afraid of losing his future, made a deadly choice. Authorities believe he meticulously planned the murder, down to the timing, tools, and cleanup. But it wasn't enough. Tyrese underestimated the technology around him, and ironically, it was tech, the very world Fahim helped build, that caught his killer. Tyrese Haspil was charged with second-degree murder and held without bail. His attorneys argued he had no prior criminal record and came from a good background, but the evidence was overwhelming. Prosecutors said it was a cold-blooded, premeditated execution, not a crime of passion. As the news spread, the tech world mourned. Fahim wasn't just a founder, he was a symbol of hope for emerging markets. People in Bangladesh and Nigeria held vigils. Kakada, the company he helped build, posted a tribute calling him a great leader, a great man. His friends shared stories of his generosity, warmth, and optimism. A bright light had been extinguished, and for what? A theft. A betrayal. A mistake turned into a murder. Fahim Saleh's story isn't just a crime story, it's the story of a dreamer, a man who built something meaningful, who believed in innovation, in youth, in countries that the rest of the world often overlooked. He turned his ideas into jobs, his vision into reality, and though his life was taken too soon, his impact remains. Startups continue to carry his ideas. Young entrepreneurs still look to him for inspiration. His murder was tragic, but his legacy is powerful. To this day, many still ask, what if? What more could he have done? What more could he have created? And what if kindness hadn't cost him his life? Thank you for watching today's episode on Red Case Story. We hope this case reminds us that behind every crime headline, there's a deeper story of humanity, of ambition, and sometimes of betrayal. Don't forget to subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.